Greetings and salutations. My name is Don Dillard. I am your philosophy professor. And in this brief video, I want to talk about word count and writing substantially. So let's jump into it. In the past, I would require a word count on all of my written assignments. Like all professors, by providing a guideline of, say, 500 to 1,000 words, I have the following in mind. If the student is extremely good at writing, then she could write 500 words and meet the substance requirement. But most students are not extremely good writers. Most students need to write at least 700 to 1,000 words in those parameters to meet the substance requirement. And the majority of students need to write close to 1,000. That being said, students might often think that if they write 500 words, then they have met the requirement. Mission accomplished. I wrote 500 words, I'm done. But that is not true for 95% of the students. That student should have written probably around 1,000 words. And so the student is likely going to end up confused and disappointed when they receive lower than average marks. Why? Because they wrongly believe that the goal of the assignment was to write 500 words rather than to write something of substance. This also, not surprisingly, encouraged a lot of, in the words of Harry Frankfurt, bullshit in the writing of my students. This entails things like fluff or filler statements, typing out do not instead of don't, and so on. So why am I telling you this? For two reasons. One, there is a word count on the term paper. When considering the term paper word count, a maxim by Socrates is helpful here. Know thyself. If you are an extremely good writer, then you might be able to get away with writing the minimum number of words. But chances are, you're not that type of writer. If you're worried about meeting the word count, because it's very likely that you're in the 95% of the class who needs to write the maximum number of words to meet the substance requirement. And that leads to the second point. Written work should be sufficiently reflective, which is to say substantive. If you are only writing a few sentences on some of these written assignments, then you are not writing near enough to satisfy that requirement. Your work, as I've indicated in past video and announcements, should be sufficiently reflective. Reflective writing yields substantive writing because you've thought about the material long enough that you have something to say. If you're only writing a few sentences, then your work is not reflective enough to satisfy the requirement. In cases where students have not been sufficiently reflective, I've told some students that they should write at least a full paragraph. But some students might get the wrong idea about this. They might think that if they write a full paragraph of words, then mission accomplished. I wrote a paragraph, I'm done. But that is likely false for that student. I'm looking for substantive writing. And if you're the sort of student who are worried about just meeting a word count or writing a certain amount, then chances are you're not writing substantively. You're worried about the wrong thing. Alright, that's all I have for now. Thank you for your kind attention, and I hope this was helpful. And until next time, take care.